Hey guys, I've been busy doing all kinds of things in the shop here. So I wanted to give you an update on the Enviate project. As you can see, pulled the wheels off. Just needed more room in the shop. So a little bit more is done since the last time you saw the car. And also, I'm happy to announce that we're running Honda Power. 2012, we ran the NSX up there, and it was making about 850 horsepower, and the thing stayed cool the whole run up. With the Beastie program, we learned that the J Series Honda, which are pretty darn cheap, they make a ton of power. Last event that we ran Beastie in at Grid Life Fall, it was making somewhere over 600 wheel, to the point where I kept gutting transmissions. We blew our second transmission, so that's on a stock engine. We've not built it. I did valve springs only in that. You can see some of the dyno videos in the other ones. But yeah, so I'll give you a quick walk around of the car, and what I've done, and kind of what's going to happen in the next in the winter months. You can see the basic layout. The front portion of the chassis I've had done for a little over a year now. For whatever reason, I kind of got a wild hair up my arse and decided to build the rear portion. A lot of that is due to the fact that I've acquired a transmission. This is a G96, so it's a 6-speed Porsche. It came out of that little guy, which I'll do extensive videos on that in the next few months. A lot of things planned for that. Anyway, so it came out of that. There's a 720 horse V8 in front of this thing, so I know it'll hold up for what I'm doing. And that is not the final transmission for the car. That is to simply get the car moving, because I'm sick of looking at it sitting here. So in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to cost that much to get it done. Tons of labor, but whatever. I have no life. I work. So I'll work my day job, and then I'll work my night job on this silly thing. So same basic layout as Enviate number 1. Gearbox in the back. Engine in the front of that. It's much shorter than the LS that was in here before, as you can see. Previously, it almost basically butted up against the fuel cell, which I did run this fuel cell in Enviate 1 during all the testing and sorting. And it's actually the same cell that was in the big explosion video and from 2013. It actually did not rupture, even though they changed the rules at Pikes Peak because of it, but that's all right. So I'm gonna use this tank, I guess. It's not a cell. I'll use this tank. It's already wired. It's already got a fuel pump in it. I'll use this to get the car running, get it sorted. Probably way ahead of aero, and then as budget allows, I'll switch over to a fuel cell with a proper bladder and all of that. So as you can see, we have a Garrett GTX 3584 in there. I think I'm going to plumb it and place it there simply because weight distribution. Also, putting it back here doesn't really work because there's a lot of things going on back here. So I don't want to clutter it up and make weight distribution worse. Without having the LS hanging in front of the rear suspension points, it's basically going to shift all the weight rearward. So I'm going to try to put some of that back up front, and packaging will be a lot easier. Basically, the air filter is going to go straight up to the scoop, which is a pretty straight shot. And then the intercooler is going to go on this side. I decided to go single turbo because the exhaust pulses on a V6 favor single turbos. And realistically, these engines, I mean, if this thing makes 1,000 horsepower at the tire, I'll be really happy because the car is going to be well under 2,000 pounds. So radiator and intercooler are going to go on this side, inside of the side pods with a specialized venting that we've designed as a team. This side will also get a radiator and a substantial oil cooler, probably also a trans cooler. So cooling is going to be the main focus of this project. Otherwise, I'll zoom in on some of the fabrication. Everything I do is TIG welded. I don't mess around. I don't even own a MIG welder. It's all chrome ollie. And then you can see the carbon seat, which I think I mentioned before. This weighs 7 pounds. And it's much stiffer than the seat that was in here previously. We've got the steering rack off so I can mount it on the engine stand, which without the rear chassis on here, it actually does support itself on the engine stand. So next, basically going to order an adapter kit, if you will, that will adapt the Porsche to the Honda. And we're going to run a J35 in here for the displacement. I'm pretty sure I'm going to just start basically with a bone stock J35. I'll do valve springs on it. Just get the car rolling. I can run it all day long at 500 or 600 wheel, and it'll be wicked fast. It'll let me get the car sorted, and from there we can build it and turn it up. The final bit is, I kind of got lucky with the placement here. That's oil filter housing. I do not plan on running an oil filter there. I don't think it's going to fit, let alone the fact that draining the thing is going to be a pain in the butt. So I'll do a simple sandwich adapter, and it's going to go to a dry sump tank, which will fit right here. That's where it fit on car one, and it worked great. So we will be doing a dry sump on it, with the dry sump pump only providing suction, which I'll build a specialty pan for this. And yeah, this is in a nice location to suck from the tank right to the housing. So that way the engine will have fresh oil, won't have any cavitation issues or whatnot. I'm not sure where I'm mounting the dry sump pump itself. Probably going to be on this side. Probably just mount somewhere off of here, directly wherever the pulley ends up sitting. So obviously heat is going to be an issue with the turbo up there, so that'll be substantially blanketed. Probably have to do some sort of Inconel wrap. So if anyone wants to assist with that, we're going to need some pretty expensive heat shielding. So otherwise, the next major things we need, like I mentioned, is the adapter for the gearbox, and then also rockers. We have them kind of paper designed, and we got to get it sent over to the machinist in CAD form and get those done. Those are also going to be used on this Enviate project, which we will be getting into this week. So once we get the adapter plate and all of that, I can then finish the rear of the chassis. It'll connect to the points there, and once that's done, get the car on its wheels. So I'm going to try to get it done somewhere around the new year. I've got a lot of projects in here that I have to stay on, so that's going to be taking up a lot of my time. But my goal is to get this thing on the track next year, not to Pikes Peak. I'm not going to take a car to Pikes Peak until it's totally sorted. But get on track, get it shaken down, and just try to make it as fast as I can.